Good morning, good morning, good morning. Let me know if you guys can hear me okay. What is up? I was low key laughing as the minute was counting down at some of y'all's comments already. Y'all are great. Good morning, good morning. It is Saturday morning, guys. We hear you now. Yes, now, Sai, because because I am now live, Sai. I am now live, Sai. That was one of the ones that cracked me up. You're like, oh, but you haven't started. Oh, y'all crack me up. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Man, what a smackdown. What a smackdown. Let me pull up some tabs because let me know, is it no, there we go. I had to adjust these blinds. The brightness was real. But y'all are funny. Good morning. Oh, before we get started, it's National Chocolate Milk Day, guys. So stop what you're doing. I guess you can pause me, yeah, and go get that chocolate milk if you haven't already. Shout out to Zach keeping us up to date with our daily national holidays, national days, whatever. And Sai, I do not have that big ass coffee, man. I will be getting that after the show. I have to take my dog to the vet, because she will be going to daycare as I have to travel up to Massachusetts again. Not next week, but the week after. So this daycare is requesting like an update on two things. So apparently they want it every 6 months as opposed to the yearly thing that the regular vet doctors say it's good for. So that'll be us up at the vet at 12:30 after I get that big ass coffee. But for now, just some juice. And good morning to everyone watching over on Twitter. Again, that seems to be the most popular outlet that I've noticed between my channel and Brass Ring Media is Twitter. So very interesting to me. But whatever. Not really important to you guys. But Smackdown, guys. Smackdown was quite the show. It was in Orlando. I am mentally, I've been like a week behind. I have been thinking that I still have like a week for certain things, and it's just not the case. So yeah, so Smackdown was last night. I was actually, well, I had to work, but I was tempted to drive by once I got off just to see if I could see, how the wrestlers, and you could see them walking to the cars and stuff like that. And they do like little meet and greets, little impromptu there at the arena parking. So I was tempted to be one of those crazy people, but I decided not to. Sigh, coffee or nothing. How do you guys take your coffee? Are y'all iced coffee drinkers like myself, or just regular coffee? But SmackDown will be back at the Kia Center in Orlando December 29th, which is a Monday Night Raw. It's interesting because it's not SmackDown, obviously, which Cena said, and they've announced, obviously, he's not going to be on any more SmackDowns. The 29th, though, obviously, it's still within this year, right? I don't know. Do we think that Cena's going to be at that date? Because the speculation and the pretty heavily rumored, damn near, if not confirmed yet, final match for Cena, yeah, last date is going to be December 13th. So, in DC. So let me see. So I don't know. Because I'm definitely going to try to go to that Monday Night Raw. But I don't know, man. To be fair, the ticket prices for last night's SmackDown, not insane, but just too inflated. Just the nosebleed seats, I think, were going for like $66. I think it was either like $62 $66, something like that was the cheapest one, obviously without fees. So when you add the fees on, probably about $100. Again, not terrible, but like that's for nosebleed though, dude. Like, and again, granted, the Kia Center, Fernando, I don't know if you've been to the Kia Center, but there's not, even in the nosebleed seats, I had got nosebleed seats for a concert maybe a year ago, and it's not terrible, especially if you get like one of the side seats, because you can look just right down on the stage. So it's pretty cool. It's not that bad of a like a view, but obviously, you're gonna want to be on the floor, and when you're paying that amount, because that concert, man, those ticket prices were probably like 30-ish at that I spent for the concert. So I guess WWE like doubled it. I don't know if that's good or bad, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know, man. And I sigh, what okay, so what's your they have no, I know they have Starbucks over there, but what's your drink, dude? What are y'all's drinks? But that being said, I feel like Raw would be more expensive. I feel like, especially if Cena's gonna be there, if that's gonna be his last, because he could have his last match, his last official match in DC on the 13th, but then still make his last appearance on a Monday Night Raw and end the year on Monday Night Raw in Orlando. I think that'd be fantastic, personally. I mean, I don't what better place, right? Obviously, that Boston doesn't want them. Boston didn't think that it was worth putting up the money for it. So Orlando, shit, we like to spend money down here. We'll pay the bill. Why not? Right? Why not? So I'm very intrigued by that. I'm very intrigued if Cena does end the year out here, because I mean, technically, he did come to Florida via Tampa right back in May for his Saturday night's main event, but he didn't come to Orlando. And I know Florida's Florida, but just saying. Just saying. And I did hear, I forget where I heard, it was I forget the podcast, but it was like, just like a random, just kind of like spitballing and going over some stuff. And um, the question was brought up, what if this really isn't seen as last year? You know how wrestlers and wrestling retirements go, how you retire, quote unquote, but it, there's always something in you that comes back, right? And I just think I just have a funny feeling with them going to Saudi in what 2027. I just think, man, if I had to put money on it, I'd probably put a little chunk down that Cena will wrestle at that Saudi WrestleMania. Just saying. I don't know. I mean, I guess the only thing that would be really tempting to him would be is money, right? Because I don't know what other story at that point would be tempting enough for him to, and this is saying and going with the presumption that he hadn't already come out of retirement, right? Between the end of this year and WrestleMania 2027 for Saudi. I don't know what would really prompt him or egg him out of retirement unless we get the rise of some new star and they're really, hitting the ground running, whatever. Um, I don't know. I don't know what else it would be tempting wise that would really make him question and, like I said, come out of retirement for it, unless it would be money. Like I could see Saudi trying, and not even trying, but willing to throw like 10 mil at him, something crazy to get him out of retirement. Because that look, they pay what is it, 50 million per show right now, all just for like random bullshit shows that they created. So can you imagine what they either have already paid or will be paying for that WrestleMania? I probably have, man. It may sound crazy, but I would guess like maybe in this, I feel like this may even be the low end, like 250 mil, 300 million. I know it sounds crazy getting close to half a billion, but these motherfuckers don't care. So they just throw money around. So giving them money or giving WWE money and giving wrestlers a chunk like 10 million, that ain't shit. They probably make that in their sleep, if not more. So they do. So I can see a lot of people coming out of retirement. I definitely see an Undertaker match. Definitely. I saw one thing, what if Sting were to come out of retirement and we finally get that Sting in Undertaker match? Can you imagine if we finally get the Sting and Undertaker match and it's at God, almost 2 years after this point, so way beyond past whatever prime it could have had, and it's in Saudi. I don't know. I feel like they would maybe try to do like a cinematic type match, but if I'm Saudi and I'm paying at that point for that match, probably stupid money, like millions and millions just for that match alone. that shit better be in front of me. You know what I mean? Like I'm not gonna be watching no screen. And what would that even look like, right? Like you can't have an Undertaker cinematic type match with it not being kind of eerie. Just saying, you know what I mean? Like in regards to the location of where you're gonna be at and just history. Just gonna leave it at that. Oh, that's right. You get the iced brown. I feel like I remember that now. You get iced brown, sugar oat, shaken espresso. It's like a fucking equation, man. And that drink is a prime example. My drink is 4 ingredients: coffee, vanilla, classic, ice. Yeah, my drink is 4 ingredients. I get, and I say it the same way. And a grande iced vanilla coffee with 3 pumps of classic syrup. Well, I guess, yeah, 3 pumps of classic syrup and light heavy cream on the side. So I guess it's technically five. Five things I gotta do when you count the ice. Bro, when I tell you how many times before I would get the heavy cream on the side, they would just fuck that drink up, or they would ring up a latte, or and I do mumble. You guys probably know I mumble sometimes, or so I don't really stress over the latte part. It just kind of cracks me up. But because I'm like, yo, do you really think if I'm getting like a latte, like I'm gonna be getting like vanilla, well maybe the vanilla, but like I'm gonna get classic, or yeah, the classic syrup in it and then heavy cream on the side? Like how crazy do you think I am? But yeah, so like a lot of times when I'm reading on my order, it just want to be right. Like yesterday I had to go inside because they were cutting trees right above the drive-through. First world problems, right? And I was inside, and I've seen this dude before, and he's seen me before. Now they're at the point where they have memorized my order. When I start to say it, they're like, "Oh," and then they finish it for me, which is fantastic. But and a problem. But this dude, man, he was ringing it up, no problem. He's like, "Oh yeah, sorry." And when I said the cream part, he's like, "Oh yeah, sorry." He rang it up as cream in the cup. Whatever. It's not that big of a deal, but I did have to get them to remake it because, oh god, when I tell you my drink looked like the shade of this cup, I was thinking like I'm not here just to drink cream with a splash of coffee, like no disrespect, but yeah. But moving back to SmackDown and the John Cena and the WrestleMania of it all and how I veered all the way out to WrestleMania 27 or 2027. Um, I don't know, man. I just think that Orlando, or I mean, I don't know. I feel like they're gonna try to do something big on that year-end show, and I really think that Cena may make an appearance. Maybe it's just wishful thinking, but I don't know. Maybe not, because if you're gonna build this big farewell match and moment, you like why would you do it on the 13th and then unless you're just banking and building and that's gonna be on them to be very specific with that. So they need to specify if December 13th is going to be John Cena's last match and last ever appearance. And I guess we can figure it out by the dates. Or if that's just gonna be his last match ever and then ever, right? And or if he will make one final appearance, maybe on December 29th. So we'll see. We will see. But I hope next time they're in Orlando, they have a little bit better luck than they did in the main event from SmackDown last night, because my goodness, you guys know me by now. I try to be very positive and I try to look at the bright side of things, but that match just wasn't it. I don't know. I hope, first of all, I hope Jade is okay. Bro, like that shit. Thankfully, there's urgent care in a hospital not far from the Kia Center, so I'm sure. And should they obviously, or not obviously, they probably patched her up backstage, depending on how bad it was. But bro, that shit, that gash in her, like on her forehead, dude, gnarly. Just gnarly. I wonder if they have a picture of it. Or that maybe YouTube is weird, man, but we'll see. Sometimes if you show like certain like graphic images, they will like demonetize the stream or something. So yeah, I don't know why. But obviously the gash came from when Nia threw her into the ring steps. And it was just man, and it just wasn't, there's no space. So I think that's what happened. That's what went wrong. There was just no space and no, and with there being no space, that prevented any time from Jade to really block and get like any hands up or, you know, like get her shoulder into the ring steps instead of her head. But man, dude, between the gash from it and she probably got knocked out, or maybe not knocked out, but she probably got knocked loopy, you know, like that. Again, we've seen how flimsy the steps are, you know, like like when they are thrown and they land. Have you guys ever noticed that? Like when a wrestler, will say Lesnar, throws the steel steps, and for instance, it when they first hit and lands on like a corner, you can see the side of the metal kind of like flimsy a little bit. Doesn't take away from the sturdiness of it, obviously. Um, but saying that because it still packs some weight and it has those rigid edges as well. I don't think they may be on the side, but anyway, that shit hurts. You know, like you can't sugarcoat that unless you obviously are able to get some type of blockage up. But if you're just going head first into that shit, dude, like ain't no the Shelton Benjamin song popped into my head. Ain't no stopping me for them steel steps. You know what I mean? But I'm trying to see if I can pull up a picture. I'm assuming everyone here has um watched Smackdown last night. Has everyone checked out Smackdown from last night? And then we'll obviously be talking about that US Open Challenge match because that was the show. Like that made the show, in my opinion. I don't know. WWE's probably not going to post it. And between that and the gash that Jay, I still don't know. Let me know if you guys know in the chat, but I don't know what the hell happened with Jay. How when Jay got busted open? What was it was it this past Monday? Or no, it was during, it was at WrestlePalooza when he had the chair. I don't know if it was Breaker's foot, maybe, or like a corner of the chair. I don't know. I went back and watched that shit like 10 times and I can't see what hit Jay in the forehead. So if you guys know, please let me know because it's just driven me nuts. But he had a gusher because that shit just it's like blood splatter, just splattered all over Braun Breaker's back. Just wild, just wild. But I'm pulling it up here. Obviously, I can't show any video, but there's some fan footage. Damn. Yeah. All right. So if you are squeamish, you may want to look away for a second here. Look at that shit, dude. Look at that shit. That girl, it was her eyebrow. Or not her forehead, more, I guess, above her eyebrow. But bro, fucking, first of all, like, look at how jacked this lady is. Like, fucking wild. Like, even this picture, like, just jacked. But look at that shit, dude. She just fucking, ugh. Oh yeah, okay. And the side of the steps do have the ridged edges as well. I couldn't remember for certain if they did or not. But and you can see, well, you can't see my mouse, but some blood already on the back. Like, bro, fucking wild. I wish I could play. I wish YouTube allowed you to play like little clips at least without getting copyright stricken. But yeah, and to be fair though, guys, like that match just wasn't really it before, you know, like I don't know. I feel like SmackDown's women's division is just kind of, I don't want to say cursed, but just not in a good spot, man. It's just like night and day when you think of Raw. And again, to be fair, it's hard to compare when you have the return of AJ Lee, Becky Lynch, like you have main event stars of the company involved in the storyline. So obviously it's going to be a bigger deal and get more spotlight and just feel bigger. But man, like I don't know, it's just like you feel like they almost like it's almost like an afterthought on SmackDown. And just the comparisons between Julia and Stephanie Vaquer, which ties into this three-way match as well, towards the or after the match, obviously. It's just sad because, and to be fair, they, I don't know, I think Stephanie, and especially now that she's been studying more, but I think Stephanie does know more English than Julia, so that obviously helps a bit. But to be fair, like before, Stephanie hasn't really spoken that much. I mean, she did cut that one promo in the ring on Raw, and she did have some moments in NXT, but it's not like she was out there cutting promos every week. You know what I mean? But something about her presence just hit you differently, which is just fascinating. And again, I stand corrected and stand wrong, or I know when I'm wrong, right? And I can admit when I was wrong. They put the title on Stephanie, obviously, which we know by now. I was hopeful that they were going to wait until possibly WrestleMania of next year. I just thought it'd be cool to watch her go on more of a long term journey, possibly win the Rumble, and kind of use that as her road to WrestleMania. But they decided to put the title on her last week. Not mad at it. Again, I just thought that maybe they could have gotten a little bit more out of her journey and her build, but man, like so far so good with her, dude. Like it just seems like she can't go wrong. So I'm so fucking happy for her. I'm happy her dad got to be there for her. Her and Miles Bourne seem to be in a great relationship, so that's cool. So props to her, man. And she's taken the initiative to learn English. Like it sounds really uh I guess snobbish. Like, oh yeah, you know, learn English so I can understand you type thing. Like, no, but it just in the sense that it does help you connect better, you know? So shout out to her because a lot of wrestlers and talent, period, just don't, you know, they just stick with what they know, go off of and bank off of the talents that they have and the talents that got them signed and just, you know, go from there, which is fine. But if you really want to excel and really, I think, go to, as cliche as it is, go to that next level, you do need to be able to connect a little bit more, especially like when it's more so of what you do outside of the ring. So the media tours that they go on, the press conferences, right? Like those radio shows, like those little things mean and matter so much. So like for her to be able to go on Busted Open, for instance, and be able to get through a 20-minute interview segment by herself, you know, things like that. It means a lot, you know, and it makes that connection just a little bit more stronger. And to me, I kind of love broken English, right? Because to me, it makes me respect you a bit more because it shows that you're, you know, you're really trying. You know what I mean? So props to her. What's up, K Smith? You said, excuse me, that well earlier, so that match fell apart so bad, and Tiff busted Nia open the hard way months ago. All of them need to stop wrestling each other. Yeah, dude, I don't know. It's just I just feel like they have like it's just not there for whatever reason. And you know, like they say, like people have like bad dance partners or whatever. It just maybe it's just the chemistry isn't there for them. I don't know. I don't know because Tiffany has done well in other matches, so maybe the sauce just ain't saucing with them, which is fine, you know. But they do need to move on. Then if you're management and your Triple H, you need to stop booking them this trio together, right? So just move on. Yeah, I really want to go back and watch TNA Victory Road because there was a lot of hype and a lot of chatter going on Twitter that I briefly saw when I was scrolling through. So it looked like it was a good show. What up, Fernando? What up? What up, my friend? Yeah, and exactly, dude. Some people just have bad chemistry, and that's fine. You know, it is what it is. But this match, not that it's set up, but after the match, of course, Tiffany Stratton retained, and I don't know if you guys have seen it, but they edited the shit out of that match on their YouTube channel. My dog is right here. But they edited the shit out of that match. Hold on, get down, free. Get down. Like, bless their hearts, and because in the mornings I always throw on the full highlights just to recap, and it was I think it was like 8 minutes or whatever. Literally the only part of the main event match that they showed was was Tiffany Stratton getting the 1 2 3. Like they would show in each match and each segment they would show like maybe 30 seconds leading up to it, whether it's like the finishing move or the last sequence or the last line in the promo or whatever. And they literally just showed Tiffany already in the pinning position, getting the 1 2 3. And that was it. I was like, wow, if that shit don't tell you something, then I don't know what else would. Um, and that's okay, dude. That's okay. It's fine to not have chemistry with someone, to have a bad match, but you need to be able to be open to take a look at it to see what happened, what went wrong, where, um, and move on. That's the key is move on, and that's out of their control, right? Like they don't go out there and it's not like they're like, oh yeah, you know what? If I'm Tiffany Shine, like, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna face Nia Jackson, Jade Cargill tonight or next week in a triple threat. No, they don't book themselves. So that is where that safety factor, as someone was saying in the chat, comes into play with management just knowing, like, okay, like for whatever reason, these two, these three, this combination don't gel well together. Got to move on. And you have a deep enough roster to where you can move on. And moving on is what they did because like I was saying, after the match, after Tiffany got the 1 2 3, Stephanie Vaquer did come out, which was another highlight of the show, and set up did the face off and set up the match that will be getting champion versus champion. They should have just called it Night of Champions, to be honest with you, instead of Crown Jewel. But they will be facing off. See, we have the official. I think it's just those two matches announced for right now. Which is Cody versus Seth Rollins, and then Tiffany Stratton versus Stephanie Vaquer now. Oh, and of course, and we do have John Cena versus AJ Styles, which we will talk about here in a second. All right, cool. But yeah, so it is just those three matches announced for now, which will be held on October 11th. Wow. I wonder what they're going to do with Rhea. Because you got to have Rhea on the show, but like, how do you. Are they going to just. Like, what, I don't know. What do you guys think they're going to do with Rhea? Because you obviously can't just not have Rhea on that show. Fucking in Australia, dude. Like, come on. But John Cena and AJ Styles, the match that a lot of podcasters thought was not going to happen. And one dude in particular, I'm not going to say his name, he's like, there's no chance of that happening. And I was like, I mean, I wouldn't say no chance because they're, as what's been apparent, this past almost year now, they are just booking on the fly. They are just booking with whatever seems to sound right at the time with John Cena's retirement run, which I think is kind of crazy. Like, how do you know months prior, maybe even a year prior, close to a year prior, that you are going to have one of your biggest stars ever going on a retirement run, and that's going to be the last year, right? They're giving you X amount of dates. They are committing to this. They are committing to dates all over the world, and you are just spitballing it. Now, at the beginning, with the heel run and everything, there was a little bit of room to be given with the whole The Rock was supposed to be involved, Travis Scott, all that bullshit. But we are so far past that. You should have very easily seen that that wasn't going to happen and course corrected. So I don't know. I don't know how you just have something so rare as your as they've been calling him the GOAT, right? The greatest of all time. Give you X amount of dates for a year, willing to fly all over the world, and you're just kind of, I don't want to say going week to week with it, but you didn't have like how do you not have this all booked out? And again, things could come up, right? If there's injuries or anything like that, but I don't really see anything that would have thrown this off course besides the whole Rock thing, and that would have been months ago now at this point. So I just, I don't know, man. I'm going to be very intrigued to see how we all feel come January 1st of the last run and in the last time for John Cena. Which to be fair is not his fault. And it's no shade on him or anything like that. It's all on the booking side. Because as he says, he just shows up and he does what they tell him to do, right? Not like that, but he does what they give him. And he is not going to go in there and advocate for himself or, push for anything or whatever. So there's that. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. It's funny because you hear Triple H say, "Oh, well, like John has like, like dream opponents and like this idea," and Cena's just like, "No, I do what they have me do." You know what I mean? I'm just like, all right, who's telling the truth? What up, Sean? What up? What up? It's good to see you, man. Oh yeah, in case if they can do Rhea versus Asuka, definitely. That's probably what they're gonna do, unless they run back Rhea and Io just to do it, which I don't see them doing that. Unless they just be like, fuck it, like y'all, we just want you guys to have a good match. Here you go. um, but yeah, I don't. It's just weird not having her in the title picture, but I kind of dig it. I kind of dig it, and I wonder if we're going to get an addition of oh my gosh, AJ Lee and Becky Lynch for the IC championship at Crown Jewel, or if we're going to wait and hold that off to like a Survivor Series. Because I still have this feeling, man. I still have, and we'll get back to, let me finish with John Cena and AJ Styles first. Well, that does kind of tie into it. My thoughts with Survivor Series, War Games, is that and again, I'm just sticking with this crazy thought until I am proven and it's confirmed that it's not going to happen. But I feel like we're going to get Cena in War Games, dude. I just feel like if I'm Cena, I mean, maybe physically I don't want to go through the pain, but fuck it, this is the last time, I'm never supposedly going to be wrestling again after this year. So if I have the opportunity to do something and do something crazy, especially do something that I haven't done before, why not? So I feel like he's going to be in War Games. And to be fair, like, yeah, it's supposed to be this crazy violent match, under WWE standards. But it's kind of like a Rumble where you can just kind of not bullshit, but the focus isn't solely on you. There's a lot of distractions, a lot of waiting, a lot of downtime. So I'm just saying, man, it wouldn't be the worst match to be in. Take a couple, big chair shots, and maybe take a crazy table spot, whatever. But I think there's a lot of ways that you can protect Cena in that match, but you can also make him look like a badass and have a callback to like that vicious John Cena. You know what I mean? Like with Cena when Cena and JBL were going at it and just JBL is so underrated. But I just feel like if you have seen a dude and he's game, and he says that he just does what they tell him to do, I'd be like, fuck it. All right. Have fun in war games, my guy. You know what I mean? Because, and again, I don't know, this is just going to sound crazy, but I throw Cena in there and then have Lesnar on the other side. Like, can you imagine the star studded level that you can make this war games match? Like you have Cena on one side, on one team, you have Lesnar on the other side. You can throw Cody Rhodes in there with obviously on Cena's team, Drew McIntyre in there. Jacob Fatu now to go against Drew McIntyre. It's so great to see Fatu back. You can throw Randy Orton in there. I think this, and the more I sit here and name people and add them to the list, you just made the list. I think this, I think this is going to be a huge war games. I said it, I think last week here. It was either on this show or on my show, Kick Ash Podcast. Subscribe if you haven't already, if you'd like. I feel like we're going to get a big war games soon. Maybe it's just me, projecting and wishful thinking again, but I feel like you can make that a huge deal. And it just marks and checks off so many boxes too. But we will see. We will see. It makes sense too because Cena is advertised for Survivor Series. I mean, how can you not have Cena in Survivor Series, right? Like Survivor Series is still a big deal to me, damn it. But especially with it being in San Diego as well. I just think that there's just so many possibilities for Cena at Survivor Series outside of a standard one-on-one match because it's just okay, cool. Like he's probably gonna lose it, you know what I mean? Like have him do something cool and do something that you're not expecting. So, and again, he doesn't have to go in there and act and fucking like start bleeding or anything crazy like that. I felt like if he was gonna bleed, he needed to bleed in that Lesnar match. I thought, especially and mainly because of what Lesnar said, like I'm coming for blood, John, or I want your blood, or whatever he said about that. Like, why say that and then not make him bleed? Like, I get like it's an expression normally, but like the whole idea and the whole mindset behind that was Lesnar's back. He's crazy. He's like on this war path or whatever, and you just, I don't know. It fell short to me. So I feel like another reason this would make sense at War Games is you can go back to that and Cena can get his revenge. His team can get the victory. So in his mind, that'll be his revenge and his victory back on Lesnar. You know what I mean? So there's just so many positive things that come out of putting Cena in that War Games match, dude. I don't know. I just feel like, especially again, the more I sit here and think about it, with them being on ESPN, they got an average grade from what's the dude's name? Andres Heel. Hale, I think. Is it Andre Hale? Andres Hale? I feel like there's an S in there. My apologies, my friend, no disrespect. But props to him because he went out there and wrote an article or his review, his opinion piece. I'm not sure exactly what he does there, but shout out to him for ESPN. And he was honest. He gave them a C rating, and I think that was very fair. It was an average show, and he pretty much, his review, the little snippet that I saw, was pretty much our thoughts wrapped up in a nutshell. They advertised and hyped up this show for surprises and, like shit you never seen, just the common hyperbole we've been getting now. And it just wasn't that. The surprise that we got was, Undertaker showed up, but the surprise that we got is Stephanie was like announced for the 2026 Hall of Fame, which I think is fair and I think is very owed. I don't think it's a bad decision or like a terrible announcement. I think it's very appropriate, for her. We'll get into that as we get closer. But it was just like, really? Like, that's no disrespect again, but that's the big surprise. Like, I don't like that. I don't know. Maybe Pat McAfee was the big surprise. I love Pat. If you guys listened to me before, he's just, I I enjoy him because I have this like level of respect for him for what he's built and how he really bet on himself. You know what I mean? Like I mean, of course he had his money from his NFL time, but he bet on himself. The ESPN didn't give him a spot. I think either on one of like the just regulars, like the Sports Center shows or whatever, and he was like, "Fuck it," or and they wouldn't allow him to bring his show onto ESPN. I know that for a fact, but I just think ESPN wouldn't hire him, period. I could be wrong on that, but there was just issues, long story short, where with ESPN not wanting to, and any real big platform really, but ESPN obviously is the one for sports, but they just weren't really about promoting the Pat McAfee show. And he said, fuck it. So he just grinded on YouTube, did his thing, and built it to where it is now and made stupid money from that. Like, stupid money between the show itself and the partnership with, what was it, DraftKings or one of those sites out there. It was just wild. Just wild. Um, but I don't know, man. I don't, you need to be careful with how you're hyping certain shows and going into certain marketing because especially nowadays people keep receipts. So if you're saying a surprise is going to happen and nothing happens or it's just kind of mediocre, they're going to call you out on that shit. And that's what happened. And I think Mr. Hale did that in a very respectful way. And I think that it was justified. So if you don't want to be called average, don't be average. Put your shit together. You know what I mean? So I don't know, man. I can't believe people are still like outraged over it and like I don't know. I'm talking about because this is my first time to talk about it with you guys, but yeah, I don't know. People are funny, bro. People are funny. Oh, thank you, Sean. I appreciate you, bro, for the super chat. We appreciate that here. It helps out greatly. You said subscribe to her podcast. She is awesome. I appreciate that, man. I feel like I haven't seen you around in a while. Where you been, Sean? You been good? Sigh, my God. He said if Cena needs to blink, give him Nia Jax. Fantastic. Fantastic. Right. Yes, I the surprises are overused. Nobody will start watching again because Steph made the Hall of Fame. It's a bit redundant. Yeah, dude, it's like, okay, cool. Like, and it's so early. Like, when was the last time we had an announcement for the Hall of Fame in September? Like, I don't know. Like, and again, no disrespect because I am a fan of Stephanie. Props to her. Again, it's whatever. But I just feel like it was just kind of like I don't know, kind of not deflating, but just like you hyped up all of this speculation and all of the like you allowed people to speculate and to think of like, oh, what if this, what if that, and then nothing happened. Like and that's completely your control, right? It's different when you're the UFC, for instance, and you hype up this main event and it's going to be this legendary fight, da da da, and it goes. It can either go one way or another, right? If it goes like one round, like it's like a quick knockout, like oh shit, like that's like that's awesome. But some people will still complain that, oh, I mean, I was just too short. I paid all that money and it was just so short. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't, just people. Some people complain that they don't get their money's worth, right? But if you have that fight that goes, what is it, 12 rounds or whatever, all the like the length, people are like, all right, like, so unless it's a very competitive fight. But if you're, what was that? What was that one fight? Oh, it's blanking on me now, but they literally were just going through the motions. I can't think of it right now, but you just need to, because UFC, that was my point with that, because UFC can't control that shit, right? Like that's legit. But if you're WWE, you 100% control what you say, what happens, and the feeling coming out of it, right? Obviously, people will react how they react, but you have complete control over what they're reacting to. So I don't feel bad for them in situations like that. But yeah, so I don't know. Again, like overall, I don't think WrestlePalooza was a bad show. It was just kind of average. It was just kind of average. I just thought it was every time I think about it though, it just kind of cracks me up. Like the hype and video package that they had at the beginning of the show, which I thought was very well done, very well put together. Their production team is, top notch, and they went through all that and they got a C grading. Not that again, it's just someone's opinion, right? It's like fucking Dave Meltzer, right? Like people are like, oh my god, I got a 1-star match, or oh, this person has never had a 5-star match because one dude said so. Like, of course, like fair respect and all respect to all the work that he's done in his life, literally that he's dedicated to this on the reporting side. And it's fucking dope that he was able to make a career out of it so early on and has sustained and grown since then. But my dude, like I am not going to lose sleep if one person thinks my work was a 1-star compared to what someone else thinks. Like I don't get that. Like, yeah, like I want to go out there and make everyone happy and put on a banging performance, but like if my match would be graded a 3 instead of a 4, or a 4 instead of a 5, I don't know, man. I like I don't know. And it'd be different if it's like everyone in the country and the world is voting. You know what I mean? Then that would be one thing. Like if everyone had access to vote to what star rating would you rate this match or this segment or whatever, then that'd be one thing because then it's everyone's accumulated opinions and then I can get a fair perspective and a fair assessment of like, okay. But even then, it's entitled to their opinion, and everything is subjective. Like, wrestling is subjective. Gail Kim, is has been getting just shit on all week because she it all started from this one clip of I don't even know, it was like these two dudes like going through like just like from the top of a building, like going through like these glass, like I don't even know what it was, like glass platform or some shit. I don't know. And she said something about it, or like she said something like, "Tell me you don't know how to tell a story without telling me," or something to that effect. And it got backlash. Like Jim Cornette got into it defending her, and Dave Meltzer had got into it. So her and Dave were going back and forth for a while, and it's just like, bro, like it's her opinion, and she more so than a lot of us behind our keyboards here, has a right to that opinion, just like we all do, but more so in the sense that she is a wrestler. You know what I mean? Like she has gone out there and told stories and been involved in it. So I don't know. And again, like I'm we obviously all can have an opinion on something without having to have actually done it before, but it's different when you have done it because you can look at it with a different lens, right? So I don't know, man. It's just crazy, like how much weight and how much stock people put into other people's opinions on something that is predetermined to begin with. You know what I mean? We're crazy motherfuckers out here. That's why people, I don't know, whatever. We'll move on. Yeah, K. Smith, you said I think, or he overrates AEW like crazy. I think he's on the payroll, and I think Gail Kim actually mentioned something like that. I think she was like in from someone who's like on the payroll or supposedly on the, or maybe it wasn't her. It was someone who had mentioned or made a comment about like Dave like supposedly being on the payroll, and that's been like the running thing for years now. Um, And it's never really, I don't know. I don't follow him. Again, nothing, no disrespect or anything like that. I just never, it was never really my cup of tea. I think Brian Alvarez is fucking hilarious. Though I've seen some of his clips on YouTube. I think he's I like him because he calls Dave out on a couple of the videos that I've seen. He has called Dave out if he's had like a shitty take or something that just wasn't true. He has called Dave out on it, so that's pretty entertaining. But other than that, I just haven't really messed with the Observer. But that's been like the running thing for since AEW became a business, right? And it hasn't really been debunked. Again, unless I've missed it, no one has outright said like that's absurd or no. You know how Tony Khan goes out there and is like when it was what was the thing he just called out? Oh, it was Hangman, the whole Hangman supposedly facing Wardlow at All Out. So I think Sean, Sean Ross Sapp from Fightful Select, shout out to them, or just Fightful period, and Fightful Select. But I think he had made a report that originally the plans were for Hangman to face off against and defend the championship against Wardlow at All Out. Wardlow tore his tricep. I, I tore something or got injured. We'll just say that got injured. Poor guy, just can't catch a fucking break. But he got injured, so he's gonna be sidelined. I don't want to say moved on, but the hype then became and was focused on Kyle Fletcher going and being built up to be Hangman's opponent. It was at the All Out, I think it was, or no, it was was it the media's? It was the media or the press conference call going into All Out. Someone had asked him, I forget the exact question, but he like was really passionate about this. He was like, the whole Wardlow being positioned as Hangman's opponent thing was never in the cards and was never going to be the match. It was never the direction. Wardlow was going to be big and influential in the build to Fletcher versus Page, but that Wardlow versus Page match was never on the table and was never going to happen. And Tony was like, like I don't know where people get this information from and this I forget the word that he used. But he was like, just come to the source. He was like, no one knows that information but me. Just come to the source. And it's like, okay. But like he was just so like, and he was like, I forget he didn't say like false reporting or I forget the exact verbiage that he used. But he like pretty much like called Sean out for reporting it, but then he put him over very much so for correcting it. And I think Sean ended up taking the post down or at least put up a correction post. So he praised Sean for doing so. And shout out to Sean, like he ain't out there trying to promote and spread false shit. You know what I mean? He's not that type of dude from what I've seen and what I've learned. So but the point of that is he is quick to call out and defend things that are not apparently true. So the fact that he nor Dave, again, unless I'm missing something, and please let me know because I'm happy to be wrong. They have not outright denied that what's his face Meltzer is on the payroll, or he doesn't have. They're not publicly traded companies, so no like stock thing or anything like that, or on the board or anything crazy. But I don't know. Just like there is reports that and speculation that Warner Brothers owned a portion of AEW or a small portion of it. I do vaguely remember Tony Khan saying that he is him and like his father and like their company or whatever is like the sole or like the majority owner. I'm gonna go back and try to find that of AEW, but he didn't outright deny anyone else being owner of AEW. And again, I could be wrong on that part, so correct. I'll put a little asterisk there, because I definitely want to go back and find that because I remember hearing at the time and it being really interesting, but I had to go back and put more attention into it. But they have not denied Meltzer being a part of the payroll. So that's all I'm going to say about that. Because, again, if we're going to put any stock into 5-star matches, star ratings, whatever, how the fuck did Kurt Angle never get a 5-star match? Say what you want about Shawn Michaels. How did he never get a 5-star match? I'll wait. Yeah. Can't tell me. Because it's absurd. It's fucking absurd. Now, WWE is not the company known for their in-ring wrestling, right? Like when you think WWE, you are not like, oh, I'm going to get a fantastic wrestling match. No, you're going to get stories. You're going to get now ads, promotion, all the fluff and propaganda. But they do deliver, right? Obviously, you have to deliver because it's not just all the hoop and hurrah. Like you got to have substance. You got to have the meat and potatoes in there. So I don't know, dude. Like, I just think that's kind of funny. I just think it's kind of funny. Like, just Angle, like Kurt Angle and Shawn Michaels are alone. Not to mention when like Brett and Stone Cold. Like, come on, bro. Fuck out of here, bro. Come on. Like, now it's gonna get me a little irritated if I go back and think of all the matches that were not 5-star because it's just absurd. And that is why I never really put any weight into it because I don't know, bro. It's just I don't know. It's just I could go on and on, but I'm gonna try not to. But I do, before we wrap up here, I do want to talk about that and just give flowers where they are due to that Sami Zayn and Javon Evans match because golly, bro. Javon Evans, dude, God, he reminds me of someone, but I just can't. I can't, or like a combination of people, but I just can't put my finger on it. Like, I was thinking at one point, maybe like a young Jeff Hardy, where Jeff was, and he's not at this point yet, but just an early Jeff Hardy, where I guess you could take it back to when Jeff was, when they were still a tag team. But Jeff would have these random singles matches still very early on in the day. And you're like, man, like this kid, obviously we know he's a fantastic tag team wrestler, but like this kid, Jeff, man, like he's got something in him. And then, of course, we see when he did it at WrestleMania 16 and just beyond. But when the Hardy Boys were split up and broke up, and Jeff really branched out into his singles run, he was that he was undersized, but he wasn't as small as Evans, right? Or as small as some of the other guys out there. But he definitely was, and wasn't as built, right? He's never been known as a body guy. But he just went out there, man, and he made you believe. Like the athleticism and just the crazy moves that he would hit, it was just a different vibe, right? And just a different, like, like how is he, especially back in the day, like the moves that Jeff was hitting was just like, wow. I don't know. But nowadays it's just like transition moves, just sad. But just going out there, you just had this feeling, man, like I know he's not gonna win, but he could. Like, there's like a small chance that he could. And that's what Javon makes you feel, dude. It's like, bro, like I know this dude is like still young and like still like like growing and becoming what he's going to become as a talent, but dude, like there's something about him that you're like, God, like he could potentially win. And they got me a couple times. They got me a couple times in that match, but I just literally the sky's the limit for that dude. And I can't wait to see the match that he's gonna have with Leon Slater, because Leon Slater in TNA is pretty much like Leon for TNA is pretty much Javon for NXT. They're pretty much like each other in the other brand, right? So it's just going to be a fantastic match. I can't, like, it almost scares me to think of the shit that these dudes are going to try to pull off, safety wise. So I am just excited for that. No, good enough. But yeah, just literally, it's funny, but the sky is the limit for that dude. Like, I don't. Oh, was it Obafemi? No, I don't think it was Oba. There was a spot where Javon was on the outside of the ropes, It's like at this random TNA show or NXT show, and no, it was it. What is it? I forget. But the clip, he was just propelled from the ring ropes all the way. Like he damn near cleared the announce table. Like just fucking unreal, unreal. Yeah, Case Smith, you said Javon has some serious hang time. It's insane, dude. Insane. But I just think that they need to. They're doing the right thing with him. They're giving him just the amount of exposure to have your SmackDown audience, if they've never watched NXT, be like, "Yo, who is this dude? Like, he's incredible," and want to check him out and seek him out. So, shout out to Javon for stepping up and showing out, and shout out to Sammy because I am loving this U.S. Open Challenge series that he's doing. I hope he remains the U.S. champion for months on end because I am not tired of this at all. I think this is what SmackDown needed. I think this is a good anchor for the show and something that people can really look forward to. And I am. So, and Sammy is like one of the perfect guys for it too. You know what I mean? That guy, man, it's just so fascinating how much you can really like ride with him and just love him as a good guy. But I just remember that bad guy Sammy, dude. Like when he was the conspiracy theory Sammy. Oh, we need the Sammy files. I every time I think of it, I will say we need the Sammy files. But it's just fantastic. He's just amazing. Shout out to him. But guys, we will be wrapping it up there because I do have to get ready. It is 11:30-ish, almost rounding up, and I have to get me and my babes ready. She doesn't know it yet, but she is gonna go get some shots. Sad, but she will get a TREAT out of it, and a little pup cup from Starbucks. So she loves that. You think I'm addicted to Starbucks? You haven't seen my dogs. My other dog, Callie, my Shepherd mix. She, when we're in the drive-through, she knows, and she starts like crying and getting like antsy when we get closer to the window, especially if we're not able to pull all the way up to the window and we have to wait in line. Oh, the nerve of having to make her wait in line. She gets so like, oh, let me at the window. I need my pup cup. Like that's her, man. That's her. I love him. But yeah, Sean, you said Angle Michaels was definitely 5 stars. Dude, yeah. Yeah. Okay. K Smith, you said he gave Sean 5 stars twice. Okay. Do you know what matches they were? Oh, okay. You do. Because you're fucking fantastic, dude. You said he rated HBK Razor 1 and the first Hell in a Cell match 5 stars. Okay, cool. Okay, well, fantastic then. Fucking fantastic. Thank you for that. I stand corrected on the Shawn Michaels part. I still think it's insane though that Kurt Angle's matches were never in the Angle Michaels match. Like, how was that not 5 stars? Like, if I don't know. And again, that's why I'm like, it's whatever because there's just so many things. And my 5 star match may not be your 5 star match. So it's just so subjective. Exactly, Sai. You said, I will never ever care about match ratings or viewing figures. We don't do it for NBA, NFL, UFC, or anything else. I don't get why the world stops for one guy's opinion or how many watch. Great synopsis, dude. I should have just left you. You're like a AI roundup person. You know, like those wizards back there who are shooting us information in the AI world. Just kidding. I know it's bots, but you're like those bots, dude. That's a great synopsis. Did he? Okay, K Smith, you are correcting me. I appreciate you, man. I thought though I'd heard that he did not rate Brett and Austin 5 stars. So thank you for correcting me when I am wrong. So I appreciate that. I still will die on the hill that Kurt Angle deserved a 5 star match if we're going that route. No, you are, sir. You are. No Mercy. My friend Elvis, actually, if you guys have watched Kick Ash podcast, what I do over there, Elvis from Into the Lab, he will be at No Mercy tonight. So look for him. He's the big dude with it. Well, not big dude, but he's big height wise. He has a big bushy beard, big thick beard. It's pretty impressive. So yeah. Yeah, he said shout out to the giant Frito-Lay pack, by the way. Yeah, that was donated by a coworker. um and my part-time job thankfully gets a lot of deliveries, so I was able to snag those boxes. That box has so much random shit in it, dude. Like, it's like you move into a bigger place, but you have less space for shit. Like, how does that happen? Like, I just, it's like, how did I have everything so neatly organized in a smaller space? Make it make sense. But I'm not gonna be watching No Mercy live though because I do have to work tonight. Yeah, I stole them. I steal shit. So I did actually. I pulled my car around the back, opened the back door, and took the boxes. Yeah. But I will be working tonight, so I will not be able to watch No Mercy live. I do want to check it out though, obviously, because I want to check out good old Elvis on there too. But so I'll either try to catch it tonight or maybe sometime tomorrow. And then I'll be popping on Kickash podcast sometime within the next few days because I need to let Zach know. I will not be able to be streaming next Saturday with Brassing Media because I will be flying back from Virginia. I have to go to VA from Thursday to Saturday this coming week to take care of some stuff with my best friend Katie. But then Sunday, I will be flying from here, Orlando, to Massachusetts again for that next week. So yeah, I have a busy next few weeks or a couple weeks coming up, scheduling wise. So I got to figure some stuff out, but I'm going to try to take some equipment with me because my company will be paying for my bag so I can pack some extra shit. um, so yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. So TBD on the official scheduling, but I just know as of right now I won't be able to go live for Brassering Media next Saturday because I will be on a plane. So there is that. But I will try to pop on at least my show, Kickash Podcast, definitely sometime within the next few days to get some stuff out there and just talk some shit because we do have some developments from outside of the ring. Rajah Jackson was arrested like I think last week ago, something like that. And I'm surprised like that hasn't gotten more hype. I mean, not hype, but more attention than it has. Like I felt like there was all this backlash about when it first happened, and oh, he needs to be arrested immediately. Why isn't he being arrested? Da da da. And then he gets arrested, and it's like no one's talking about it. So I just find that weird. But yeah, so we have some stuff to chat about. So I'm gonna try to carve out some time and figure that shit out. But as always, if you are here now live, if you want to go ahead and like, I appreciate that. Like the stream and this show and go ahead and subscribe. That'd be fantastic. A lot of you guys, the majority of you guys, as always, are watching over on Twitter, so I appreciate that. Yeah, until next time, guys. Until next week, stay safe out there, enjoy some wrestling, and be nice to one another, guys. Take care.